यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. My salutations to Swami Vivekananda, who is the king among the ascetics and whose radiance is equal to more than thousands of suns, who has descended on this earth to redeem all the difficulties of the human beings. To such a great monk, the incarnation of Lord Shiva, my humble salutations. Om, peace, peace, peace. My dear devotees, as you know, we were discussing Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga. Swami Vivekananda's lectures, when we study, especially complete works of Swami Vivekananda, which runs in 9 volumes, sometimes a serious reader may feel that when we read the commentaries of Adi Shankaracharya, or Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, and some other renowned philosophers, there is a schematic representation and also development of ideas. But sometimes, when we read complete works of Swami Vivekananda, we don't find. Yes, it is true. That is why, because for 2 reasons we have to understand. One is Swamiji never sat and wrote any book to give a systematic philosophy or like to create a school of philosophy. That's the one thing. Second thing, except 1 or 2 papers where he prepared himself, and most of all the lectures he gave extempore. Whatever it came from his mind, from that highest thinking mind, whatever it came to him at that particular context, maybe by seeing people, it depends on situation, depends on country, he started speaking. That's why sometimes we feel following Swamiji becomes difficult. And of course, if you have got a well information, knowledge about history, Indian history as well as world history, philosophy, classical philosophy, Indian as well as Western philosophy, and little sociology, then you'll be able to understand Swami Vivekananda's complete works or Swami Vivekananda's teachings in a better way, in a systematic way, probably according to me, in my opinion. And the one more thing, what I found is the 4 yogas of Swami Vivekananda, that is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga. These are the 4 textbooks, future textbooks, as Swami Vivekananda himself has prophesied. In the future days, these 4 yogas will be the future textbooks. So among them, one textbook known as or called Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action, we are discussing. And Swami Vivekananda's works are nothing but the running commentary for the Vedanta. Whoever has studied Vedantic scriptures, Prasthanatraya, in detail and in depth, when we study Swami Vivekananda's complete works, we find a lot of resemblance and we'll be able to understand the Vedantic teachings in a better way. In the first chapter, Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga, we did see what is karma and its effect at the individual level and also at the society level. Now, second chapter, which is what is duty, we are discussing now. After giving a broad explanation of what is karma and its effect on individual and also at the society level, Swamiji is telling them what is the duty of a person. Probably in my lecture I did start with a story, but I did not end the story. Whoever has listened with rapt attention, they will be able to observe that, oh, Swami didn't complete the story. So what was the story? The story was a hermit was staying in the forest, practicing austerities. A deer came and deer said, O venerable sage, hunter is chasing me to hunt and to kill me. Can you, I take shelter at your feet. Can you protect me? The sage said, yes, you go inside my hut. I will protect you. And the deer went out. He closed the door and he is sitting outside, repeating the Lord's name. The hunter came and he asked, "O venerable sage, did you see the deer coming this side?" Now, the fix is, Dharma Sukshma we say, the fix is whether should he say the truth or he should save the life of the deer. Of course, in the present day, we tell very easily, oh, he can tell lie, what is there? Because nowadays, unfortunately, telling lies has become such a easy thing for us and has become the part and parcel of the life. We feel, what is there in that great thing? But whoever practice the spiritual injunctions, the universal truths in toto, for them, it will be very difficult to tell a lie. Even for a sage, also, it was very difficult for him to tell a lie that he has not seen the deer. But if he tells that, yes, I have seen the deer, obviously, the next question from the hunter will be, where did the deer go? Now he cannot say, I don't know. Or neither he can say that I have allowed the deer to be inside. If so, then hunter will kill the deer. But the sage tells lie, saying that I don't know, I didn't see any deer. So having a faith in the words of this sage, the hunter passes away. The hunter moves in search of the deer. After some time, the deer comes and it joins its group. Now the question is, so the sage told lie, whether it is true, whether it is right or wrong. Yes, it is right. Why? Because to save a life of a deer, he told a lie. There was no selfish end. There was no selfish motive, or there was no any ulterior motive. If we tell lie with any ulterior motives, then definitely it is not true or it is not right. So such type of facing crisscrosses, lot of thinking has to be done to take any decisions in our life it comes. So what is my duty? What should I do? What should I not do? Why should I do and why I should not do? All these things, all such type of questions we do get whose awareness or consciousness has been risen. So for such people, what should I do and what should I not do? Why? All these things will be sometimes a great thinking and it will take a lot of time also. There will be the fix. So keeping that in the mind, Swami Vivekananda is trying to describe what is duty and why should we do duty, how should we perform the duty, and by doing, what happens? What are we going to achieve? In the previous class, we did discuss about the duty. Like the duty of a person changes from country to country, from religion to religion, from society to society. It is very difficult to give a universal explanation or definition, objective explanation or definition for the duty. But still, in spite of that, I would like to define the duty is by doing the duty or by doing the work which takes us Godward is my duty, and which takes me away from the God, it is not my duty. That can be one of the universal explanation according to Swami Vivekananda. After saying this, Swamiji says that he gives his own example in Chicago where he had a problem with the people, the Western people. Because Swamiji was wearing a long coat with a pant and he was wearing a turban, which was not common in those days in the West. And for any Western person, if any gentleman, he has to have a shirt and pant, it should be inserted and should be buttocks has to be put and belt probably with a hat. He is known as gentleman according to his upbringing. Whereas Swamiji's dress code was entirely different and according to many of the Westerners, it was indecent. It was not decent dress. As a result, many of them, they pulled his turban. When Swamiji spoke in a good English and when he asked, they were dumbfounded. And quoting this, his own example, Swami Vivekananda says that this is what the problem is for most of our people. from whichever religion, from whichever society or country we have been grown up, in such a in that particular fashion, we will be knowing what is my duty and what is not my duty. And I also try to judge every man of the entire globe from that same angle or from that same spectacle or goggle. That's where the fanatism comes into picture. That's where a lot of war, bloodshed, all these things comes into picture. So we have to do objective discussion and objective view about the duty. Swami Vivekananda is saying. Probably when I'm telling this, a thought comes to me that recently Father Alan Hilliard has come here, and just while talking, while having a cup of tea, we were discussing. We asked him, "How are you, Father? Tomorrow and day after, what is your work, etc." And he was telling, "Oh, for 2-3 days I'm packed." Then we thought probably he got some work, administrative work or whatever. Then said, "If you don't mind, Father, what is the lot of work you are having? What type of work you are mentioning of?" He said, "I have to, some 2-3 deaths have happened and they are in different places. I have to travel each place and I have to pray before the cremation." We heard and we all laughed and we kept quiet. Of course, we did feel sorry for the passing away, and afterwards we felt. And afterwards I was thinking same thing. See how difference between religion to religion. And is a monk, under the death, after the death, he has to go and he has to do prayer, or without doing a prayer, a person of the Christian faith feels that there will be no moksha, there will be no salvation, or he cannot reach the heaven. Whereas in Indian, or from Sanatana Dharma point of view, from Hinduism point of view, if there is any death ceremony, a monk is not supposed to go there. Okay, some person has died, he can go and he can pray, no doubt, but he's not supposed to go for any death ceremony and all. But in Christian religion, they are supposed to go, and in the Hindu religion, the monks are not supposed to go to any death ceremony. How difference is there between religion to religion? That's what Swami Vivekananda is mentioning that. So we have to have objective definition and objective outlook about what is my duty. And it depends on your birth, it depends on your position, it depends on your status, and it depends on the country from where are you coming, and depends on the duration what time you are living. So 100 or 200 years before, the same country where you were born, the definition of a duty might have changed at the present time. So it keeps on changing. That's what Swami Vivekananda is saying that. Now he discusses about the modern problem also. For most of us, or for many of us, the duty or the work or the responsibility is mind-boggling for us. Sometimes it's a boredom, monotonous, and we feel that, oh my God, when this will end, when we can get away from this duty or from my responsibilities. And we all wait for the holidays. Why? Because we feel that it is saying much upon my health, much upon me. I'm not able to enjoy my work, or I am not able to enjoy my responsibilities, whatever I'm doing or performing many times, most of the times, with many people. So Swamiji is giving a solution, antidote, that you mix the sweetness or love with the duty. Duty is seldom sweet. It is only when love greases its wheels that it runs smoothly. It is a continuous friction otherwise. That's what Swamiji tells. And he gives an example. A child is not well. The child has got a fever, and mother nurses her child. For 3 or 4 days probably, mother will not be able to have the proper food, and she will not be able to have a proper sleep while in nursing her own child, but she never feels that it is too much for her. Why? Because mother's love towards her own child. Similarly, husband's love towards wife and wife's love towards husband makes them to work for them, each other. It is respect with their children. And it's same thing probably, if it is extended, it will be with family. And Swamiji, while explaining, he gives a rationale that, because here we see that love, there is a love. A tinge of love is there. That's why we have got so much work, but still we don't feel boredom. We don't feel heaviness. But whereas in some, probably where we work in as a profession, from profession point of view, our duty, we feel that it is too much heavy. Why? Because that love is not there. You grease the duty or your profession with the love, then you'll be able to go ahead with happiness, with bliss. That's what Swami is saying. And afterwards, he gives a beautiful explanation that you have to increase the circumference of your duty. When such type of sentences we hear, we read and we go forward. We don't think. What do we mean by we have to raise ourselves in the sense of duty, or we have to increase our circumference in the duty aspect, in the principle of duty? Means, generally, first and foremost, we are always bothered about oneself. I am bothered about myself. If I am okay, then I shall think with others. This is the selfishness is there in every human being in generally. Then afterwards, it comes to my husband or wife or children. And again, if it is extended, the love is extended, then it comes with family people, close family people, family members. Then if it is little extended, probably it comes with the relatives. Then again, okay, you extend your circumference. What happens? It may extend your sense of duty or love with your friends. Okay, I ask you to extend the circumference, then maybe with the neighbors. Then extend your circumference, then with the country, with the society. And Swamiji tells that still you have to extend your circumference. Till where? Till then where? He says that the moment you have to reach by doing the duty, that without any motive at all, without any selfish motive, if you are able to perform the duty, then the role of duty has been taken care in your life. So the duty starts with taking care of myself, oneself, just like we see commonly instinctively in the animals. We are also from animals, so we have got that instinct even with us, no doubt. Starting from there, we have to reach to that universality, universal love, where I work, I take care of the people without any motive, without any selfish motive, without any for any selfish reason. When we reach there, then Swami Vivekananda says that the role of duty has been done in your life. So why should we do duty? To reach that unselfishness. From selfishness to unselfishness, we have to reach. For that, the Karma Yoga is the best path for us to become unselfishness. And Swamiji says that unselfishness is God. He uses the word unselfishness as a synonym for the God. If you are the unselfish man, what is that means? You are the most religious person, spiritual person, or you are nearer to God. So we have to do our duty, starting with taking care of me, no doubt, with family people, no doubt, with relatives, friends, neighbors, no doubt, and also it has to be extended with the countries, humankind, and without any motive. Probably yesterday in Aparokshanubhuti class, day before yesterday, I was telling this. What is moksha? Moksha is the state of no expectation. Oh, Swami, you are a monk, probably you don't have any family, so you can say easily. But it is not possible for us. Can we reduce it, or can you make little easier? If someone asks, then probably I will be forced to tell that then there should not be having any binding expectation. Instead of having no expectation, I would like to say that there should not be having any binding expectation. When you can reach that state, then you are free. We all want freedom, but unfortunately we think that freedom, by having money, we think that we can be free. By having power position, we think that we are free. By having name and fame, becoming a celebrity, we think that we have got a freedom. But none of this can give freedom in reality. When can we attain the freedom? When we can be free from all expectations or binding expectations, then we can be free. And after expressing the duty, to what extent we can reach without any selfish motive, Swamiji takes the next point, very important point, about the chastity, which includes purity of mind. Now, when Swami Vivekananda is discussing about the duty, the philosophy of duty, why Swami Vivekananda is discussing about the purity of mind and about the chastity. It is very important. We have to think. Then only we'll be able to connect the dots. Otherwise, we miss it many things. Because if we don't have a purity of mind, what happens? We will not be able to perceive things as they are. That's what evolution of a human being. Evolution of human being, it is not from childhood to the middle age or to the death. No, that happens physically, obviously. Evolution of human being is intellectual evolution. For an example, I'll give an example, then you probably will be able to understand. When we were small, 1 or 2 euros doll was brought by my mother. 2 dolls were there for me and for my sister. One was with a red color and one was with a green color. Now my sister and myself, we started quarreling for the red doll. Both of us, we wanted red doll. Mother says, my dear, both are made from the same material. Both cost same thing. Both are 2 euros only. And similar in size, similar in looking, everything. Whether it is a red color or a green color, what does it matter? Why do you quarrel for such a petty things? Please take both of you one each other. We say, no, I want red only. I want red only. We feel that the whole world is in that red doll. If I get that red doll, then I say that, okay, the whole world is in me. And the grown-up people, they laugh at us, our foolishness. Or maybe because we are children, they understand, they also enjoy, they go away. Imagine after 20 or 30 years, the same, like my sister and myself, we have grown up, and probably 2 kids are doing same thing in the house. Then when we witness, we may remember our old memories and we will also laugh. The situation is same with me when I was kid, with me and my sister when we were kid, and now 2 kids are quarreling for the red doll. The situation is same, but our perceptions are different. There is no change in the doll probably. There is no change in the situation, only the change in the people and my perception. Because now I know what is the value of a doll. There's no change in the doll or the value of the doll as per like 2 euros, but my perception, my valuing it got changed. That's what I mean, evolution of the intellect. So for that, we need a purity of mind. When we have got instinct, when we live at the level of instincts, every external things become very important. If there is a small change, if there is a small disturbance, immediately we get disturbed. But once we evolve ourselves from physical level to the mental level or intellectual level, then we don't bother. Probably this story, it reminds me a story, comes from Albert Einstein life. Once Albert Einstein was going to a big function. Big function, I mean, in the function probably the chancellor of the university and the president of the country and many other dignitaries were coming. It was a very grand function. Hundreds of people are also probably they were attending. After having breakfast, Albert Einstein he was about to leave his room. His wife came and said, Mr. Einstein, what is this? What type of dress are you wearing? He looked himself from top to bottom and he said, what is the problem? It is washed, it is well ironed, and there is no scar or there is no any mark on this. What is the problem in this? She said, it is old. You have a new dress probably. So because the president of the country is coming, the chancellors of the universities are coming, and many other dignitaries, why don't you wear a new dress? And why don't you wear that's a till better looking? Why don't you wear? Albert Einstein said, my dear lady, I think that I'm not going to fancy dress competition. I'm going to deliver a lecture. People are coming not to see my dress, to hear my lecture. So since it is clean, neat, tidy, and there is no torn, then what does it mean whether it is an old cloth or a new cloth? See, this is the difference between a common man and the mindset of the Albert Einstein. Probably the same case with all of us. You would have thought from 3 days, which dress I should select, which dress I should wear, and what all the makeup and I should make, and all these things we are bothered. I'm not saying that we should not make. Generally we think that, but Albert Einstein, he says that he's not bothered because his level of his level of conscious awareness is at the level of thoughts, at the level of intellect. So such an amount of purity he might have got. So when you get a purity of mind, what happens? Your level of awareness, consciousness keeps on increasing. Then automatically your circumference of about the duty, whatever I discussed just a little earlier, then also gets increased. Your perception towards things, you are giving importance to things and to the world and worldly objects, all gets changed. There is no change in the world, but there is change in your mindset and your reaction towards things. That's why Swami Vivekananda says beautifully, we all expect that the world should change and the world should adjust to me. It never happens. I should supposed to adjust to the world. So this intellectual maturity, when it comes when we get a certain amount of purity of mind. That's why Swamiji is bringing the concept of, or the important idea of chastity in the duty also. And also he's telling that everyone we have to be chaste. The moment when we say that chastity, generally we get that, oh, I am supposed to be celibate and I am not supposed to be married. No, we don't mean that. Yes, for a monk, no doubt, he's not supposed to be married, he's supposed to be celibate physically, mentally, intellectually, in all the angles, no doubt. But for a householder, it is not so. So what is the then concept of chastity according to householder or for householders? Swamiji himself gives a beautiful explanation that if a man can see, a man can view, or a man can perceive other than his wife, all other women as either mothers or sisters, and if they are very younger, then as the daughters, then he's a blessed man. So when Swami Vivekananda is speaking about chastity, that's what he gives an example. Similarly, a woman, other than his husband, if he can view, if he can perceive, if he can see every man as a father or as a brother, or if they're younger ones, as a son, then she is a blessed woman. That's what Swami Vivekananda is saying that. So how we should view every human being, Swami Vivekananda is giving an analysis. Except their own wife or husband, either they should have father, husband, or son, or mother, sister, and daughter. And he makes one important point is mother's love is much more greater, so that we should be able to see every woman as mother. That is the greatest manifestation of love. He makes it just one by passing remark. No, by hearing to all these things, you may get a question that by doing duty, what I am going to get? Okay, so we have to, from selfishness to unselfishness, you said, I can go near God and all, you said, and chastity, you said, what do I get? Swami Vivekananda discusses that you will be free person. Don't you think that you are aspiring for freedom? Freedom of the soul is much spoken of, much thought of with the great people. So when you do your duty rightfully, when you do right duty in the right perspective, in the right duty, in the right attitude, so it's very important to things. Right duty or right work with the right attitude is very important. What happens? You will be able to achieve freedom. So we are all expecting, our soul is, soul means our mind is aspiring for that freedom. So when you do your duty, you will be the free person. You will attain the freedom. You will achieve the freedom. That's what Swami Vivekananda is saying. How is it? Probably I will give an example of a saint called Madara Chennaya. Some say that he was born in Tamil Nadu, the southern part of India. Some say that no, he was born in middle Karnataka, southern part of India. Basically, what was the work he was doing? He was going to forest and he was cutting grass and used to bring the fodder to the king's tables and used to provide every day grass and other fodder for the king's table. That's all he was doing, just to take care of his family. But he was doing a spiritual life, he was leading a spiritual life, and he was with all dedication, commitment, zeal, truthful, honesty, all these things, whatever we say, with all these things can be seen in this Madhurachanaya. And once the Chola king or Chalukya king, there are two different versions. He was also a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He was worshipping and he offered the food. Lord Shiva appeared. He said, "My dear, today I would not like to take the offering done by you." Then the king got really disturbed and said, "Oh, my dear Lord, did I do any mistake in worshipping you, in offerings? Why are you not taking? What is the problem today? Every day you used to take, and today why are you not taking?" And the Lord says, "Oh, today because I took the gruel prepared by this Madhura Channaya, and it was very tasty, so I took so much, now I am feeling full. I'm feeling full stomach. I'm not feeling hungry, so please excuse me. Today I will not be able to take the offering given by you." Then the king was astonished, because he know that who is this Madhura Channaya. He's from a poor background. He has given probably a gruel, rice is boiled in the water and it will be water mixed with the rice, probably such type of gruel he might have given, and it is very tasty, and Lord is saying that it was, since it is very tasty, he has taken and his stomach is full, and here we have prepared so many types of varieties of delicacies with golden plate and silver spoon, and God is telling, "I don't need." And he goes and he meets Madhurachanaya, and after some time the king understands how saint this Madhurachanaya, and if the king falls to his feet and he asks, "Please, can you teach me devotion, how to become, how to do this, or how can I be a great devotee of the Lord Shiva?" Then this Madhurachanaya said, I don't know any of these things, dear king. Whatever my work is there, my responsibility is there. Just I take care of my family, and I am able to, whatever is possible, I try to serve the society. And every day, as you know, I go to forest, I cut the grass, I give to the horse stable, and rest of the time, I think, I meditate on Lord. That's all I do. So he was a householder. He had a family, and he comes from a poor background. And again, he was illiterate, and his vachanas are today understood and studied by the great monks of Vachana Sahitya. Why? Because he was the great ardent devotee of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was pleased by his devotion. And he didn't go to any Himalayas, or he didn't go to any caves to do any extra penance. Whatever his duty was there, he was doing it sincerely, honestly, truthfully. Then the Lord Shiva used to appear, and whatever the gruel was given by this Madhurachanaya, Lord Shiva used to accept it. So what do I get? What do I achieve by performing duty in a right perspective? That's what happens. You can reach God. You can have the vision of God. Are you, from the Gnana point of view, if we say that, you can have a self-realization, and you will be the free person. Free from what? Freedom from jealousy, freedom from envy, freedom from senses, freedom from mind. Now, how much I may be a crorepati, I may be a billionaire, but still I am the servant of my own mind. I am the servant of my own senses. I am the servant of my own emotions, isn't it? I am not free person actually. But when we do our duties properly, and when we increase our circumference, what happens? With the chastity, with the purity of mind, some austerities, control of mind, what happens? When my mind is purified, and when I grow more and more morally, ethically, spiritually, I'll be free person. Freedom from the senses, mind, intellect, emotions, and all the undesirable qualities like envy, greedy, jealousy, so many desires, so on and so forth. That's what Swami Vivekananda tells, that by doing the duty in a right way, in a right perspective, you will be a fit person to have the freedom. And Swami Vivekananda himself narrates one beautiful example which comes from Vyada-Gita. There are so many types of Gitas. Among them, one Gita is called Bhagavad-Gita. We know most of us. And this Vyada-Gita is the part of Mahabharata. Vyada is a butcher actually. So the Gita, the song, are the teachings given by butcher. To whom? The philosophy in a poetic style is been given by, or the philosophy has been delivered by Vyada or butcher. Fine. But to whom? To a monk. That is the beauty of this Vyada Gita. The story goes like this. A monk was practicing austerities in a forest. After several years of practice, he had got some occult powers. But at that particular time, he was unaware. Once he was just sitting below the tree and he was thinking, he was meditating probably. He was thinking about God. Suddenly, there were some droppings. Then immediately he saw with anger that there were two birds. Because of his anger, the two birds were reduced to ashes. Then the sadhu became aware that, okay, because of practice of austerities, penance for a long time, now I have got occult powers. If I see someone with anger, then they will be burned into ashes, reduced into ashes. Such power he has got now. The sadhu understood. Then it was mid-afternoon. He went to nearby village. For asking for bhiksha, for begging. He said, Bhavati bhikshaan dehi mata. Oh mother, please give me some food for me. Just after a few moments, a lady's voice came from inside the house. Dear sir, please wait, I am busy. Immediately, this monk got furiated. He was furious. What? I'm a monk. I have come for asking alms and you want me to wait for this? What is this? So the angry just is passing in his mind. Immediately, the lady has not seen him and the monk has not seen the lady, but the monk is telling from inside, don't think that I am the two birds. Because of your anger, I will be turned into ashes, I will be reduced into ashes. The monk was dumbfounded. How is this possible? I have not seen her and she has not seen me. And how did she understand what is going in my mind? Then he was very much curious and he waited for some time. After maybe 15-20 minutes or half an hour, whatever, the lady came with the food. And she said with all due respect, Venerable sir, please excuse me. I am late. I was looking after my husband whose health is not good. So I was serving him. That's the reason I came late. I'm sorry. Then after accepting the alms, then the monk said, my dear lady, I never even uttered a word. I didn't see you and you didn't see me. But a thought just crashed in my mind. How did you understand? How did you know? What sadhana you did? What type of penance, austerity you have practiced? How did you get this power? This lady laughed smilingly. She says, oh my dear sir, I don't know much about your religion. I have not studied Vedas like you. I have not studied any scriptures like you. When I was in my house, I used to look after my parents with all respect and whatever they used to say, and I used to obey them and I used to practice. And I used to serve my parents religiously. And after my marriage, now I am taking care of my husband and I am taking care of my age-old father-in-law and mother-in-law and taking care of my children. That's all I am doing. I don't know any scriptures. I don't do any extra practices. See, such type of work, we all do that. We all do such responsibilities. We all discharge such responsibilities, no doubt. But we keep murmuring many times. Oh my God, so much I have to do, no doubt. Of course, no doubt. We have to do it, no doubt. But we murmur because we have got some expectations. That's what Swamiji says that. If you are doing your duty in a right way, in a right perspective, you don't murmur. And in this lady's case also, it is not that all the cases were favorable. All the situations of that lady was favorable. And whatever she desired, everything she got according to her wish. No, it was not so. But she never murmured. So here, the work, whatever the lady did and whatever we do, probably it is more or less, it may be similar, but the attitude changes. There's a lot of difference between attitude. We murmur. Why? Because we expect. Because we have got our own selfish motives. Because we have got our own selfish calculations. That's why we murmur. But in this lady's case, she never murmured. And she done her role, her part, her work sincerely. Not only at the physical level, even at the attitudinal level, I wish to say. As a result, now she has also advanced in spiritual life, and she also has got a lot of powers which a monk got after doing penance, austerities. So that's why purity of mind, chastity, all these things, how it helps to practice, to do spiritual sadhana, to practice this spirituality, it helps us. We are all trying to do spiritual sadhana. We are not able to do. Why? Because of lack of purity of mind. That's what we can see here very clearly. Then he asked some other questions to that lady, and she said that, okay, my dear sir, that's all I know. If you want to know little more about religion and about more other things, there is a nearby village. There is a village, and there is a person, such and such a person, and is a professionally is a butcher. You can go and learn some other advanced lessons of religion. Now again, this monk was astonished. First of all, he's a monk. And now itself he was astonished to see a lady who had some power. And now she is telling that you go to a particular village and where there's a butcher and you can learn advanced lessons on religion. Again, he felt, okay, let me see what is there. Why there is no differentiation for knowledge? Why should I feel that I'm a monk, and why I should feel that I know everything, anything? He said yes, and he went back to his kutia, and he had his food that day, and he slept. And probably in few days, again, he went to that village. And from distance, he's seeing that a butcher is from probably black in complexion, maybe he had got a FT body. By seeing that, he said, some demon is standing there. I mean, the physical appearance, I wish to say. Such a person is chopping the meat and is selling, and is touching all the meat, and the money and everything has been touched, and a lot of smell is coming of the meat smell. And this lady has told I should learn the advanced lessons of religion from this butcher. What is this? It is very strange. Oh God, what are you doing with me? Why are you putting me into such type of test? But still, because he had a faith on that lady's talk, so he was waiting. Just he approached near the butcher. It was a quite distance, but the butcher himself voluntarily told, oh my dear sir, is that the lady of such and such a village? Did she send you? Now, of course, there were no mobile phones like now. So then it is not that, okay, that lady had messaged, WhatsApp message or normal message that, okay, such and such a monk is coming. I have asked him to take advanced lessons from you. No, there were no mobiles at that time. And then again, the monk was astonished. How did this person come to understand? How did he come to understand? That I have never told, I have never expressed why I have come. Immediately he started telling that, okay, such and such a lady has sent you, isn't it? This monk from the distant, he nodded his head, and he was not interested to go near because of that meat selling and etc. This butcher gave a signal, there's a seat there, please you sit there only. Then he sat. Then after finishing all his business transactions, he took the money, and the butcher closed his shop, and he said, please come. He took the monk for his house, and he asked him to wait outside the house. He made him to sit, and again he went inside the house. After some time, he came out and he said, my dear sir, sorry, I have to made you to wait. I have got age-old parents, mother and father. They are ill. They are not able to take physically food themselves, and they are not able to move. So as a result, I have to serve them. So I have fed them, and I have cleaned what I was supposed to do services. Everything I have done. Now I am free. Please let me know. How can I help you? How can I serve you? And then this monk started narrating the whole story, and he started asking, I would like to learn some more lessons, advanced lessons of religion or spirituality. Why don't you tell? Because the lady said that you are well advanced in that. And whatever he spoke and whatever he told to the monk, that has formed in the that has come in the form of Bhagavad-Gita. But there also, the nutshell is, oh my dear monk, I have never known any scriptures like you people, and I have never gone to any forest or any Himalayas to do any penance. I did my duty religiously, promptly, with dedication, commitment, and with truth and honest. Because I was born in this caste, or I was born in this family, and my father was a butcher, and just I'm continuing that profession just to take care of the family, to feed the family. But otherwise, I don't relinquish or I don't enjoy when I cut the meat of any animal. That's the one thing. And I do it honestly. My business I do honestly, and I take care of my children, and I take care of my age-old parents, and I serve them. And whatever is possible, I'm able to serve the society in my own possible way. That's all I do. That's all my sadhana is. And but when he spoke, it was the wonderful philosophy. It is like how a Brahmagnani speaks. So in the similar way, this Vyadha, the butcher, was also speaking. So Swamiji gives this example. And he tells that, you see, because he may be a family person. Again, by profession, he was a butcher and he was illiterate, but still, he was advanced in spirituality. How? By doing his duty properly, with dedication, with commitment, with love, and with honesty and being truthful to his consciousness, to his conscience, and to his profession or whatever. That's why he had attained a lot of spiritual progress. So what do I get? What do I attain by doing duty properly? I will attain the freedom. I will attain the bliss. I will attain the moksha, salvation, emancipation, or realization. That's what we see. This is the beauty of religion or spirituality, spiritualizing everyday life. In the introduction to complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Sister Nivedita has given a beautiful introduction. According to me, that is the gist of complete works. There, she says that now onwards, henceforth, there will be no distinction between sacred and secular, art and science, or science and spirituality, materialism and spirituality. So this is what Swami Vivekananda's philosophy is, or the Vedantic philosophies. You may do any work, no doubt, but you can divinize it, you can spiritualize it. You may not need extra time for meditation probably, or to do special practices, special spiritual practices. Whatever you are doing your duty, if you do it properly with honesty and with rightfully, then definitely that alone or that is capable to take you, to lead you towards God or to the path of God realization or self-realization. That is the beauty of duty. So Swami Vivekananda is saying, you might belong to any caste, any country, any sex, any religion, by profession, never mind. Do it properly, sincerely, based on your status, then definitely by that duty, you'll be able to reach the God and you will be the free person. And Swami, in this whole, the second chapter, what is your duty when you are studying? The key point you'll be able to get it, that is detachment. The 4 yogas of Swami Vivekananda, every yoga has got one keyword according to me. Every yoga has a keyword according to me, and in this karma yoga, in my opinion, in the karma yoga, the keyword is detachment. The more and more you detach yourself from all these things, you'll be able to do things properly. Because we have attached, that's why we are not able to understand things properly. That's why it is called adhyasa in Vedantic Sanskrit term. Adhyasa. It is superimposition. We have superimposed many things, and from that angle we are seeing the world and worldly objects and the people, and that's where we get into problem. So with the purity of mind, with the evolution of our mind, intellect, emotions, all these things will be reduced, then we'll be able to see the world as it is. The world will not change, the people will not change, but I will be changed. So from Buddhu, you will become Buddha. That's what spiritual life is altogether. So when you do your duty, what happens? You will transfer yourself from Buddhu to the Buddha. That's what we can see in the life of Buddha also. So It is the worker who has attached to results that grumbles about the nature of the duty which has fallen to his lot. To the unattached worker, all duties are equally good and form efficient instruments with which selfishness and sensuality may be killed and the freedom of the soul secured. So, the beautiful thing which Swamiji is telling in the nutshell, and why we should work with a detachment, why we should not aspire for the results of action alone. By that, we will be narrowing down, and a lot of our energy is getting filtered out. Probably in my previous class, we did discuss about the motives that Swamiji has discussed very scientifically, from psychological point of view. When we have got with the motives when we work, how our energy is getting wasted. So Swamiji is telling that by duty, you'll be able to reach the God. You'll be able to expand your heart. You will have a universal mind, universal heart, just like Buddha. To that extent, to that stage, you can achieve by doing your duty properly, rightfully. In the next class, we shall try to understand each person is great in his own place, how it is. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.